the first time you met Alan Mackey, when was that?
Oh, it's probably a few years, about a year or two ago. We just met him around at various gigs, and we just got to talk to him now and again. Got to know him over the years, just very casually.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we went on the label is because we played a gig with him, his band, and we sort of talked about things. There was no talk about doing anything, but he sort of got to know us, and I think he got it into his head to have us on the label.
Do you remember the first time you sent the image you had of him or something? Do you remember that? The first time you saw it, do you remember like the image you had of him, or what do you remember of him, or what he said to you?
First time we met him, because he was pretty famous by the time we met him. You know, because it was all the Jesus and Mary chain type hype at the time. So no, he seemed like a nice enough guy. Basically, he seemed like quite. We thought he might be really, businessman, or, you know what I mean. No time for anybody, but he was quite down to earth. So I thought that was all right.
Is that the reason why you went? What is the reason why you went to Creation?
It was a really good label. We were stuck with some other label. We didn't like it at all. We had really problems with that before. We didn't know what to do, and Alan came up to us and said, "Do you want to sign? We'll do a deal with them, release the records." What he came up with was quite good, so we said, "Yeah, sure."
He just told us the plans for the label, because at the time there wasn't a lot happening, and he just told us what was going to happen, And so we said that we want to be part of it. So we said, "Yeah." So that's it.
What did he tell you? What was his big plan?
Well, he more or less what's happened really. He sort of knew what was going to happen really.
Just with various things like the 99p singles and the cheap album.
Yeah.
House of Love doing well, and possibly we could do well out of it as well.
Yeah.
It's worked okay.
What about people that say that Creation is like a family?
Maybe it used to be, but it's like we're friendly enough with various people in various bands, but it's not really like you don't really see anybody. I mean, we don't actually play with many of the bands or anything. Maybe it used to be like that, but nowadays a lot of the bands are very separate, especially the bigger ones are more separate,
And like, what about like equally the label of love? That's what he put on the bottom of his cover.
Bit of a joke, I think. I mean, it is true, but it wasn't so deadpan.
Well, he does a lot of stuff out of love anyway. It's a lot of records he released. They're not going to get very far. They sell a certain amount, but they're not like hugely, saleable commercial records. He does it because he likes people and he likes to think the music's okay. That's how it's called a label of love, really. So he likes music.
Yeah, he doesn't tend to put people on the label that he doesn't like.
Are you proud to be on Creation?
Proud? No, wouldn't ever be proud to be on any label. I mean, it's just a label. It's a good label. It's a good independent label. It's one of the best. It's better than Rough Trade as far as we're concerned.
And like, let's say if you think of the future, is then for you it's no more like you're going to leave the independent label one day to get bigger, to music get bigger, and you're going to go for a major?
Hopefully we can keep it like Factory and 4AD. That's the idea, because bands on those labels can make as much money as anyone can ever make on a major label, because you get a lot more money on an independent label as well. That's another thing about it. You get 50% instead of 12%.
But you think there's a big difference between you and the first lot of people who start the indies like in 78?
Maybe only that we know. You can see how so many bands have gone. A lot of bands signed to major labels, but not hardly any of them get anywhere. It's in this country, it's not that necessary to be on a big label. I think for America, Europe in general, it's no real advantage to be on an independent label, say, anywhere in Europe, in France, for example. Wouldn't actually be a big advantage. But in this country, there is a huge advantage, mainly because you've got a lot of access to the media that you wouldn't have on a major label. All the independent charts, radio shows, various TV shows, magazines, everything that you wouldn't have if you were on a major label. They wouldn't be interested.
And like when the charts come out, you jump on it or you look at it, you're interested. But they mean anything to you?
Well, a bit. Only when we're in them.
Yeah, we look at it. That's great. We've gone up to number 5 this week. Brilliant.
Do we?
Well, we did once.
Yeah, a bit. Not much. They're not very realistic anyway.
And your music will revolve a lot around violence.
In a way, not macho violence.
Sort of violent release in one sense, where we make a lot of noise and such. but it's not, you know, oh, let's go out
Well,
and
let's
thrash
take the
out.
cover. I mean, is that there's a big line from the cover, basically.
It's not really a violent image.
Why you call Bloody Valentine?
We don't really know.
Well, the names the old singer Dave came up with. He
Yeah,
had this horrible name
another-
before, and he said, "Oh, we were
We were
unhappy
in a
with
pub
it."
and the guy just said when I called the band My Bloody Valentine, we thought it sounded really silly, stupid, and that was a long time ago, and it just stuck. You know, it's in a way it suits in a way what we're doing. You know, there's a sort of a connection, but
We were actually going to change it once we
Yeah.
left, but just
Couldn't think of a better name.
And what do you do on Valentine's? Do you believe in Valentine's Day?
do we believe in it?
Like, do you do anything to Valentine's Day?
We haven't actually. We always plans to do a gig on
Oh, what's the
Valentine's
band?
Day.
No.
we did. We played the Valentine's Ball last year. Yeah.
That wasn't on Valentine's Day
not by
though.
design.
But to come back to the album that's going to come, do you know roughly how much it costs to record the album?
Record it.
But to do the album that's going to come?
I don't know, because I mean the recording costs and the actual manufacturing costs, and before we get any money we've got to actually pay for the manufacturing costs, and they're really high. I'm not really sure actually how. It's a lot. Like usually, I don't really know with albums. I know on singles, right? You usually got to sell. Well, 7 inches you don't make money on. 12 inches you got to sell about. Say for example you press 5,000. Well, you have to 2,000 have to be sold before you can make any money. You know, albums. So I don't know. I don't really know how much an album costs, to tell the truth. Never made one before.
Sometimes you wish that you were with people like give you a lot more money, like a lot of mentions you said, okay, you need 60 grand and do the album.
But it's your money still. They don't give it to you. They're giving you a loan of money. What's the point? You know, you can spend it. You know.
And you're in debt for the rest of your life, or whatever. You know, for the next 10 years, you have to pay off this.
It's only
huge
good
debt.
if you intend to be. If you intend to, really, if you're on a major label, the main point is to sell as many records as possible. And you can't sell as many records as possible if you want to experiment. You know, you got to find it. If you want to be a big successful band, you got to find. You could be like Prince, for example, and it took him years and years before he's as big as he is now. He released loads of albums. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? He wasn't always huge, and or you could be like, I don't know, like you get a lot of bands like come from our area, signed to a major. What the major does is they tell them to take a particular type of their music and push it forward, because that's the only way they can push the product. It's very difficult to push a product of loads of different things, which we do. There are a lot of different areas that we cover. It's impossible to just push that one area. You know what I mean?
I think it's a good idea to do sound music in the
Yeah, especially because what we're doing, a lot of stuff we're doing wasn't done in 1978, for example. The Sex Pistols never sounded like us, so they sound like rock band. That was the Sex Pistols, you know. They're just a glorified rock band, you know.
A lot of people getting off from dance music now. A lot of people used to be rock like last year. Now a lot of independent labels probably with dance music now. Really think about even rock trends that they listen to it.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. We've got some stuff coming out, you know. We've got songs
Some
that use
stuff as well.
stuff like that.
Strange.
Oh, to a certain extent, you know. I mean, we're not jumping on any bandwagons or anything, but well, you know.
Well, it doesn't sound like what's going on at the moment anyway, so it's not jumping on a bandwagon and say, well, sound like this dance stuff, do some more dance stuff. It's not like that. It's more combining what we do ourselves, and it's just like one idea.
We're not ignoring it, put it that way. We're not into the idea of being like a 4-piece rock band, you know, who uses guitars and stuff like that. Like if you hear the album, you hear it's even more different than the single in the sense of that it doesn't even sound like guitars anyway. A lot of the stuff.
Interested in like all rock and roll mythology, like all heroes and motorcycle and leather and stuff.
No, we don't like leather, you know. Black, you know, it's a waste of time.
Black and leather.
Not
It's
really,
handy to
not
wear.
that much.
No.
Oh.
That seems to be the what categorized English for the moment. In film music, it's white, it's done. And on creation, it's not black and
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's, I don't know. I suppose, yeah, I know what you mean there, but then again, that's because I suppose it wouldn't be a very good label for people that want to play that kind of music because Alan doesn't like it. You know, so they're better off on other labels because people are more interested in the music.
There's another thing that Alex talks about with a lot of people in that distance about is the kids.
That was sort of a joke. I mean, they've got a compilation video coming out called "Doing It for the Drugs," so you know.
What have you got to say about drugs?
Drugs.
Drugs.
Got any?
Okay, finish out with people that like from. Can I just give you three one? 1989.
Speedy words.
How are we going to school?
Getting older.
Money,
What? Soon.
attraction,
No.
noise,
Not bad.
growing up,
Going to school.
success,
Maybe.
love,
Definitely, yeah.
sex,
More?
and creation.
Oh,
Oh, push.